Later in life, Mr. Hearst said that the road was so steep and the way so rocky that he only managed by hanging on to the tail of my pony. Beef on these hills today, largely black and red Angus. The cattle graze much as they always have, and depending on the season, you may see them along the hillsides. William Randolph Hearst was 56 in 1919 when his mother Phoebe died, his father having passed away earlier. William inherited this land he had loved nearly all his life, and immediately hired a talented and singular architect, Julia Morgan, whose firm was located in San Francisco. Hearst was overheard walking into Miss Morgan's office and announcing he was tired of camping in tents. "I'm getting a little old for that. I'm thinking of building a little something." Well, his little something became this estate of more than 165 rooms, and he chose to build it on the hill which had served as his family's original campsite. Julia Morgan's first challenges were to make a road from the old bridle path, and also to bring water from the natural springs that were located on a mountain almost 6.
Que no se puede publicar en el Facebook.
Así que ahorita vamos a ver qué encontramos acá adentro.
That we couldn't see from that first terrace. This is the House of the Mountains because it looks out to the San Lucia mountain range. And Winston Churchill did stay here in 1929. Also David Niven, Bob Hope and his wife and his cottage, Edmund Hubble.
Adelante, compañeros, enseguida les pasaremos nosotros.
They wanted to be able to access the pool, and they wanted use of this cottage. This wasn't on tour until 1976. And they also owned the front of the wine cellar. So, belonging to the state, if the family does use anything that's so good, they have to follow.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you like that?
From that aspect, it's a good
And a
display.
little more of ancient Rome. This is the ancient Roman burial vault. At one time it had a lid, and it was in a mausoleum, and it had a wealthy Roman in it. Now just part of the art collection. And then heading over here, we're going to walk past the oldest work of art on the hilltop Egyptian goddess segment.
We're gonna head up this way to get a picture of it.
Well, we're gonna be on that terrace.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we pretty much stayed with. Well, over time, things happen. Well, the belief was happening.
This is the same view from that little terrace from St. George's Square.
Okay.
So imagine the view from the little bedroom to the little Belgian. That's probably the best view. And then here's Sekhmet. All of these different carvings date back to the 18th and 19th Egyptian dynasties. So these range in age between 3 and 3,600 years in age. So the oldest works of art on the hilltop. And you can see female body, lion head. She was the fierce protector of the sun god Ra. That was her job. And I don't know if we could buy this kind of thing today, but in the 1920s we could. And Mr. Hearst bought it kind of strategically placed. He would impress guests. He invited, he came by trade to San Diego, part of the Panama Exposition of 1915, which if you're familiar with San Diego, those buildings are still there. Very ornate, like this house. And also the Alcazar in Spain. So guarding the front door, there are these hairy wild men, larger than life. And if you look closely, they're literally covered in hair. They date back to Spain, and they're over 600 years in age. So they represent all that's wild and untamed in nature. His guests were going in and out of these Spanish convent gates. We are going to actually not go in the front door, we're going to go in the side door, protecting the vestibule floor, which is more of the ancient Rome. It's a mosaic floor, little pieces of marble carving, picture, it's merman. The oldest work of art would be the Madonna and Child in that niche. She dates back 800 years, also from Spain. She's shown as she's wearing the crown, she's shown as the Queen of Heaven. And Mr. Hearst and Marion, because once this home was built, Marion was the established woman in his life. Mrs. Hearst was primarily on the East Coast. So Hearst and Marion living, occupying the whole third floor behind that teak wood. And that was, it's teak wood, Thailand, but designed by Julia Morgan and carved in San Francisco. In the studio of Jules Sappo, who's a Swiss-born carver. He had a studio in the Bay Area.
Está más bonita la de Zamora y la Morelia. Todas las de Michoacán. Muy bien, ahora estamos introduciéndonos al castillo. Por aquí no les vamos a planar, pero no se fijen.
So, thank you for staying on the tour tonight. Some of our guides joke that this altarpiece, which mostly is Julie Morgan, actually, it's mostly plaster. It says, this sacred altar dedicated to God, the Virgin, and the Saints Gregory and Joseph. So Julie Morgan designing all of that. The columns are old, are carved wood with the gesso and the gilding. But actually, Julie Morgan was amazing. She was a civil engineer. She graduated from Berkeley in civil engineering. And then she went on, she felt the best school of architecture was not in America. She considered MIT, but she eventually went to the École des Beaux-Arts in Paris. And she worked really well with Mr. Hearst. He was a man that was used to being in charge. And they did have an excellent working relationship. He did actually listen to her. And he wrote her a letter. He wrote Julia Morgan a letter. And he said, I have found the perfect mantle, the perfect fireplace, and I'm sure you will design a hall to do it justice, or something to that effect. Because this massive fireplace is the first thing that you see when you come in the front door. So Mr. Hearst guests were walking over the mosaic floor, ancient Roman, what we know, it's been restored, and the restoration. So we do have paper napkins, but they're monograms with these initials. But it was surprising to a lot of people because you were usually dining on these bare, refectory tables, these Italian, 400-year-old monastery dining hall tables. And Mr. Hearst would sit in the middle, and under the plate would be the menu, a lot of beef, cattle ranch, a lot of every kind of poultry you can imagine. So pressed jack was popular, roast ranch turkey, fried chicken, mashed potatoes, and then a lot of seafood. Maybe starting out with oysters from Norway. And then on the bottom of the menu would be the movie that you were seeing. So that was a highlight of the evening, because we were often watching a movie that had just recently come out and starring Clark Gable and he's sitting right next to you, or the producer, or the screenwriter, or the director. So that was a fun aspect of being a guest here. So Mr. Hearst in the middle, Marion Davies across from him. She was a smoker. Many of his guests were smoking, although he didn't smoke. And you know how important you were by how close you sat to the middle. So Churchill would then see he's a guest of honor. Does anyone remember Alice Marble? She was, I have never heard of her. She was a tennis coach here. She was a teenager, and she went on to win Wimbledon. But she wrote books about her life in Hollywood, and she said she wrote a letter to her mother. She said, I'm having such a great time here. I played poker, I won lots of money. We watched a movie in the theater, and then we stayed up really late at night, sitting on the floor in the morning room, talking about the movie. And she said, so that's the front of the house, and that's Mr. Hearst in his riding clothes. The problem with a flat roof is it often leaks, and this one has for decades. So the state has removed the cork tiles, and the cork did absorb a lot of noise. So now it really echoes. That's why I'm speaking here. I just want to make sure we have most of the group. So this concludes the walking portion.
Se pueden meter a bañar, porque ya nos podemos ir, después hay calvas esperándonos.
Nos vemos esto. Está bueno esto.
While you're at the visitor center, be sure to stop by the gift shop and also to view the free exhibits, which will give you an expanded appreciation of the estate. If you get a hankering to try the Hearst Ranch beef or other products, they are available for shipment and sale at the kiosk at the visitor center, as well as being served in the restaurant. Be able to see a long airstrip that he had built in 1945 in order to land a Douglas DC-3C. It was the third airstrip constructed by Mr. Hearst, who frequently flew into San Simeon from the mid-1920s on. It is still in private use. Farther north up the coast, you may see the Piedras Blancas Lighthouse, which is still in operation, having been in continuous use since 1874. Tours of the lighthouse are available. Just south of the lighthouse is a cove that during many times of the year is filled with elephant seals. These massive ocean mammals rest on sand, mate, and give birth in this cove. Extreme caution should be taken when viewing them. There are viewing stations located off the highway. If you'd like to learn more about the region, you can visit the Coastal Discovery Center at San Simeon Bay, located across Highway 1 from the castle entrance at William Randolph Hearst Memorial State Beach. Learn about the animals that live in this portion of Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. There are also many opportunities to enjoy the unspoiled coastline in both directions when you reach Highway 1. Walk out on the pier and imagine the area as a former whaling station and a center for shipping and commerce in the late 19th century. Stroll through the surviving little village of San Simeon, which is across the highway from the castle. It was a bustling commercial city in the mid-19th century, then a residence for Hearst employees in the years after George Hearst bought the land in 1865, then an estate village that housed castle workers in the years after 1919. Its one-room schoolhouse still survives, as does a store dating from 1852, and several of the warehouses, the oldest of which dates clear back to 1878. Though there were many plans after Hearst's death to build a large resort area along Highway 1, the Hearst Corporation in 2005 concluded a landmark conservation easement that set aside 82,000 acres of land for its original use, family ranching, and protected the rest. 13 miles of coastline were donated by the Hearst Corporation to California State Parks, meaning that the land will always look as it did in Hearst's and Morgan's day. William Randolph Hearst said he would rather spend a month at the ranch at San Simeon than any place else in the world. He and Julia Morgan worked 28 years to create the lavish estate you have enjoyed, but it doesn't end there. They also created a legacy that all of us can carry on.
And that is what I am here to tell you about. My name is Victoria Castillo, author of books on the castle's art and landscape. And I would like to invite you to join Friends of Hearst Castle, the non-profit group that helps preserve this special place for future generations. Julia Morgan called San Simeon a museum of architecture. Mr. Hearst said he was building a museum for everyone to enjoy. You can help keep their goal alive by making a donation to Friends of Hearst Castle. We have two important missions: to preserve the precious art collection we love, and to ensure that through education, we continue to bring visitors to this matchless place. When you become a member, or make a one-time donation in the boxes with a light on top that you will see at the Visitors Center, you contribute to maintaining Hearst's and Morgan's ongoing dream. Thanks to you, school children will visit the castle and see things they never imagined. Conservators will work for painstaking hours, making sure that antique ceilings, paintings, textiles, and other parts of the art collection will remain beautiful for centuries to come. If you join the Friends of Hearst, you will receive exclusive benefits, including the opportunity to participate in special events at the castle. If you make a one-time donation, you will be contributing to a lasting legacy. Mr. Hearst and Miss Morgan believed in dreams. We hope your visit today to La Cuesta Encantada has inspired you to explore it further, to enjoy the scenic coastline, and to leave here ready to pursue your own dreams, taking inspiration from the many creative people who brought this place to life.
I couldn't have said it any better than that. Please come back and visit us soon. And on behalf of California State Parks, we thank you so much for joining us on tour today.